All right, I hope you just read Eliza Crossing the River. And again, it's poetry, which is a little bit harder, so we're going to go through and look at it a little bit, paragraph, by bit. We call these things actually stanzas. And poetry doesn't have to rhyme. The other one didn't rhyme, but this one does. It rhymes. So this is, again, the genre is poetry. Oh, we didn't stop and look at our text features. We better go ahead and do that. We have Eliza Crossing the River, so we know that one of the characters is going to be Eliza. We have our title. And then I'm going to show you what the picture looks like. So we have Eliza carrying a baby, and we have men on horseback. And then you've probably seen, I'm not familiar with this from Texas, but man, up here, this happens all the time. The rivers get so cold, they actually freeze over. And you can look at her. She looks really terrified. And if you look at the bottom, we do. So we had a title. We had an illustration. And we had our glossary at the bottom. Flying. In this case, it means to flee or to run away. They're not actually flying like a bird. They're flying like running. Flood. To flood means it's covered with water. And to want something or lack something. They're in want, they don't have it. All right, so here we go. We're going to start from the beginning. From her resting place by the traitor chased, through the winter evening cold, Eliza came with her boy at last, where a broad, deep river rolled. Now, this is really middle school level, but I'm going to go ahead and show you. There's something called a rhyming scheme, and that word is scheme. That's how we write it. And it's what words rhyme. So we have cold and rolled. And we would say that those both rhyme. We would label those as A. Now I'll show you what's going to happen when we keep going. All right, so first off, who are the characters? So we have who, and who. Yep, the trader. So this would be a slave trader that's hoping to track down a runaway slave and sell her back into slavery. We have Eliza and we have her boy. And what's our setting? What's our setting? Well, we have a river, and we know that it must be winter or maybe just beginning in spring because it is a cold, cold day. All right, stanza 2. Great blocks of the floating ice were there, and the water's roar was wild, but the cruel traitor's step was near, who would take away her only child. Okay, what two words rhyme? Wild and child. All right, now these aren't the same rhyming. They don't rhyme with cold and rolled. So we have a new rhyming set. Notice that it's following the same pattern. A word and a rhyming word, a word and a rhyming word, a word and a rhyming word, and so on and so forth. All right, we have more details about the setting. We know it was a wild river. We know there was floating ice. Poor Harry clung around her neck, but a word he would not say, for his heart was faint with fear and with flying all that day. Now we saw that flying down at the bottom means running. So they were running all day. All right, what are our rhyming words? Say and day. And they're different than child and different than rolled. So we have a new set of rhyming words. And you just go alphabetically. All right, we have a character. What's the name of her son? Harry. And how's Harry feeling? Fear. He's scared. Her arms around the boy grew tight with a loving clasp and brave. Hold fast now, Harry dear, and it may be God will save. What are our two rhyming words? Brave, save. They don't rhyme with A, they don't rhyme with B, they don't rhyme with C. So what letter do you think we're going to write? Yep. Notice that they're still in the same pattern. How's the mother feeling? How's the mother feeling? Well, you might say she's scared, loving, brave. All those are good feeling words. From the river's bank to the floating ice, she took a sudden bound, and the great block swayed beneath her feet with a dull and heavy sound. Mark your rhyming words. I'm going to mark those as E. All right, so she took a sudden bound. So what's going on here? It's just like our picture. So she's jumping to the ice with a bound, and then she's swaying because the ice is moving. So over the roaring, rushing flood, from block to block she sprang, and ever her cry for God's good help above the waters rang. Mark your rhyming words. We're going to see if they rhyme with A, with B, with C, with D, with E. All right, so she's trying to get across the river. And God did hear that mother's cry, for never an ice block sank, while the cruel traitor and his men stood wandering on the bank. All right, mark your words. A good man saw on the farther side and gave her his helping hand. So poor Eliza with her boy stood safe upon the land. All right, mark your words. All right, now we have a new character. Who's our new character? Oh, let's go ahead and mark H. Yep, a good man. We don't know who it is, just a good man. And what was the outcome? Yep, she made it safe. A blessing on that good man's arm, on his house and field and store. May he never want a friendly hand to help him to the shore. All right, mark your words. A blessing on all that make such haste. This just means fast. Whatever their hands can do, for they that succor the sore distressed, our Lord will help them too. To succor means to help the sore, so the poorly distressed, the sick, the tired. Whoever helps the sick and tired, the Lord will help them too. All right, so I have a couple of questions for you. So, who is Eliza and who is Harry? Well, hopefully you said Eliza is the runaway slave and Harry is her son. And what are they trying to do? What are they trying to do? Well, they're trying to get away from the traitor that is chasing them. And what are the conditions like right now? What's the setting like? Wintry, cold, a roaring river. And how is this poem different than the other one? What was something different about this poem as compared to this one? This one has stanzas. This one also has a rhyming scheme. All right, so at this point, we're going to look at our vocabulary really, really quickly. There's only a couple of words with these two pieces of poetry. And then you're going to answer your vocabulary and then your comprehension questions. awkwardness. Awkwardness. Discomfort. To bound. You can bind something with rope, but in this case, bound means leap, like a frog or a cat would bound. Clasp. Clasp. You can have a clasp on a coat or on a purse, but you can also clasp something with your hands, to hold something. Course. Now, there's this course, which is like a class that you take. You might take an algebra course or a course in tennis. But this course, notice it has an A. And this course means rough. A coarse piece of clothing would be very rough and scratchy. Recuperate. Recuperate. To recover. Like if you're sick, you would recuperate from an illness. And this one we know from science, revolving, moving around. And then our last one was suck or succor. To succor is to help. All right, so you're going to pause. You're going to fill in each of our vocabulary words. Remember, you might have to change and add a suffix, an ending, ed, ing, es, s, etc. And then you're going to write 2 new sentences using our words. When you're done, you're going to answer our 4 comprehension questions. Don't forget to use your strategies like finding the verb, proving and disproving, going back and reading. And then you have 2 short answer responses. Now, I want to go ahead and look through both of these where you can see. So this is a compare, it's our verb. Compare the structure, this is how it's written, not the topic, the structure of the 2 poems. Write one thing they have in common, so that's a similarity, and one thing that is different. So I want you to think, what is one thing both of these pieces have in common? Not about the topic. Don't tell me they're both about slavery. This is about the structure. So what type of genre are both of these? Because the genre is different. It's not like an essay. So you might say something about them both being forms of poetry, which means they're not written in paragraph form. But how are they different? What was different about this one versus this one? We said there were 2 differences in this one. Do you remember? What do we call these things? And what did we call this? So the second one has stanzas and it has rhyming. Now, we already gave you some thoughts, but what do you notice? There's full sentences here, so I need a full thought, multiple sentences. Slaves risked pain, suffering, and danger when they ran for freedom. Give an example of the risk from each poem. So I need an example of pain, suffering, or danger from text 1 and text 2. It didn't say you had to give a quote, it just said an example. So you can use your own words. All right, at this point, you're going to stop your tape. Tomorrow, we're going to answer our graphic organizer together. We're going to do the first 2 parts together, and you'll do the last one separately. All right, have a great day.